Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, on the 10th anniversary of 9/11, we'll hear a survivor's personal story. Then, they say you are what you eat, so we've dished up delicious tips for a healthier you. We'll list the ABCs of RMDs, plus the latest news on preventing prostate cancer and how to ensure you get those life insurance proceeds.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. There's no easy transition to this next subject. The terrorist attacks of 9/11 took place 10 years ago today. I'm sure you, like me, can picture exactly when and how you heard the news of that first plane. The plane flew into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. We watched from afar. But George Slay pictures himself on the 91st floor of that tower, looking up to see a plane headed straight towards him. We're grateful he survived that day, and that he's here to share his story with us on this solemn anniversary. Thanks for joining us, George.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Why were you in the World Trade Center?
Well, I had worked in Manhattan for about 18 years, the last 10 of which were in the World Trade Center.
And you were working that day?
I was working that day, yes.
So tell me, the plane is coming right at you and you actually see it coming when you're in the building?
Actually, I was on the phone at the time. I wasn't looking out of the window, but heard the loud roar from outside the building, turned around in my chair, and I could see the plane almost into the building immediately upon seeing it.
What did you think was happening?
I just assumed it was off course, something. I didn't consider that it was a terrorist attack at that point. I just assumed it had gotten off course.
So you ran to the stairwell?
Yes, the plane came into the building about 25 feet above my head, and immediately my office collapsed around me.
Oh my gosh.
But I was able to crawl out of that space, and we knew that we needed to get out of there as quickly as possible. There were 3 stairwells available. The first one was inaccessible. The second one, the door was blocked, it was full of debris. And the third one was blocked above us, but it was open for us to walk down.
And that's the one you went down?
And that's the one we went down, yes.
All right, so how long did it take you to get down?
Probably close to an hour.
An hour?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And were people running down the stairs? What was going on?
No, it actually was quite calm. There was very little panic. Not too many people knew what was going on, I don't think. And never assumed, of course, that the building would collapse.
Did you see any firefighters or police officers?
As we got further down, almost to the bottom of the building, we saw some of the firefighters coming up, which was a vision that's just burned in my brain till this day.
What time was it that you were there that this happened?
The plane hit the building about 8:45, and by the time we got out of the office and down to the ground floor, it was probably about 10 o'clock.
And when you hit the ground floor, something happened at that point. Tell us about
Yes,
that.
I was on my way out of the building. I was still inside the building on the concourse level, walking away, and I heard a loud explosion to my right, and I looked around, looked up and saw a huge amount of debris flying towards me, and I started to run, and immediately upon starting to run, this blast caught up with me, threw me across the concourse, and the lights all went out at the same time.
And what was the blast?
The blast, I was to find out later, was the collapse of the South Tower.
Wow. So that tower got hit second, but collapsed first.
That's correct, yes. Mm-hmm.
Were you hurt?
No, I didn't realize that initially, but as I walked away from the building with 2 other men, walking away up to Broadway, and a police officer stopped me and said, "You need medical attention," which I was not aware of, and he said, your pant leg is soaked in blood, and my right pant leg was soaked in blood. Got me into an ambulance right away, which took me over to the Beth Israel Hospital on the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
You made it there okay?
I made it there okay, and I got there about 10:30, which was about the time that the North Tower collapsed. Yeah, there was very little traffic around. It just seemingly everyone was out of the way, and we got there in good time.
When did you first learn that it was actually a terrorist attack and
well,
not an
actually,
accident?
the attendant in the ambulance told me what had happened about the second plane flying into the South Tower and the rest of the story. And initially, I thought it was just an accident, but obviously it was more than that.
And the plane hit 1 floor above you?
Well, it was about 2 or 3 floors above me, about 25 feet, yes.
Okay, and everybody in your floor get out okay?
Yeah, there were 12 of us there at that point, and all of us escaped. And I was to find out later that no one above the 91st floor survived.
Wow. Has this changed your life in any way?
Yeah, it just made me thankful for my life, and just I thank God daily for sparing me and allowing me to continue to live, and allowing my family to not have the grief that so many families experienced.
Is it hard for you to come on the show and talk about your story?
No, I do it regularly.
Really?
Not on the show, but to a lot of people. I think almost since I moved back to Ohio, probably about 100 times I've talked to various groups.
Have you suffered in terms of nightmares and recurrences?
You know, that's the amazing thing, not once.
Really?
Never, not once have I had a nightmare or seen a plane flying at me.
Well, you're a blessed man, George. Thank
Sure
you for
am.
coming
Thank you.
in and joining us today.
Thank you.
As our viewers know, at this point I always try to close my interviews with a summary, but today I think the most meaningful conclusion would be for me to simply thank you, George, and for all of us to pause to remember all the precious lives that were lost.